Hey blues fans, welcome. You found us. I'm glad you did. It's time for another episode of This Week in the Blues. It's our weekly take on blues history. I'm your host, Jimbo Big Train Madsen, with the blues band Big Train and the Locomotives. We're just trying to keep the blues alive, one video, one podcast, one song, and one social media post at a time. So let's take a look and see what happened this week in blues history. Skip James, the best-known proponent of the so-called Bentonia school of blues players, was born on June 9th, 1902. He is among the earliest and most influential Delta bluesmen to record. His guitar playing is noted for its dark minor key sound, played in an open D minor tuning, with an intricate finger-picking technique. Coupling an oddball guitar tuning set against eerie falsetto vocals, James's early recordings could make the hair stand up on the back of your neck. After his 1931 recording sold poorly, he drifted into obscurity until being rediscovered in the blues revival of the 1960s. Clarksdale, Mississippi blues guitarist Anthony Big A Sherrod was born on June 9th, 1984. Big A performs regularly in Mississippi, but can also be found touring internationally. He's a natural showman that uses the stage not as a border but as a suggestion, and he will jump on the nearest bar and play from there. He moves and plays with a bit of a mischievous nature, and he personifies the authentic music in Clarksdale today. Anthony is also an example of the success of the Blues Music Education after-school program at the Delta Blues Museum. He was not only a student there, but later a teacher, passing on his skills and knowledge to the Clarksdale youth, solidifying the next generation of blues players. Jazz, country, and blues guitarist, songwriter, luthier, and inventor Les Paul was born on June 9, 1915. Not only was he a pioneer of the solid-body electric guitar, in the 1950s he and his wife, singer and guitarist Mary Ford, recorded numerous records, selling millions of copies. In 1940, Paul created a prototype instrument called the log. Yes, the log, which was one of the pioneer solid-body guitars. He approached Gibson Guitar Corporation with his guitar idea in 1941, but it wasn't until Fender began making its Esquire and Broadcaster guitars in 1950 that they finally showed interest. The guitar was dubbed the Gibson Les Paul and released for sale in 1952. The one and only Howlin Wolf was born on June 10, 1910. In the history of the blues, there has never been anyone quite like Howlin Wolf. 6'3" and close to 300 pounds in his salad days, the Wolf was a primal force of the music. No one could match him for the singular ability to rock the house down to the foundations while simultaneously scaring its patrons out of its wits. He was a big, imposing dude. Over a 4-decade career, he was at the forefront of transforming acoustic Delta blues into electric Chicago blues. In 1980, he was elected into the Blues Foundation Hall of Fame. In 1991, he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And a couple years later, his face was on a U.S. postage stamp. Now that's a measure of success. Blues musician Little Laura Dukes was born June 10, 1907. She was a singer, a dancer, a mandolin, banjo, and ukulele player. She was often billed as Little Laura or Little Bit in reference to her 4'7" height. She performed and recorded in Memphis, Tennessee from the 1920s to the 1980s. She grew up in North Memphis, where her father had been a drummer in W.C. Handy's band. She first recorded in 1934, playing mandolin on recordings made by the Memphis Jug Band. The sweetheart of the blues, Bonnie Lee, was born June 11th in 1931. With her powerful, sweet voice, Bonnie Lee was a longtime fixture of Chicago's contemporary blues scene, as well as one of the last surviving links to its post-war heyday. She is best remembered for her lengthy working relationships with Sunnyland Slim and bassist Willie Kent, becoming a legend on the North Side blues circuit. She was one of the last of her genre, a big-voiced woman blues singer fronting a Chicago band. June 12th marks the birthday of blues guitarist Kenny Wayne Shepherd. The Shreveport native began playing at the age of 7, figuring out Muddy Waters licks from his father's record collection, despite never taking a formal lesson. Signed to a major record deal at the age of 13, he's been nominated for 5 Grammy Awards and received 2 Billboard Music Awards, 2 Blues Music Awards, and 2 Orville H. Gibson Awards. I hope he has a big bookshelf to put all those awards on. Charlie Patton recorded Pony Blues on June 14th in 1929. Patton wrote Pony Blues sometime around the age of 19. With the help of record store owner H.C. Spear, Patton obtained his first recording session for Paramount Records. He cut 14 sides, including Pony Blues, Banty Rooster Blues, and Down the Dirt Road. Pony Blues was also the first song to be released by Patton on the Paramount label. He would record another rendition of the song as Stone Pony Blues in 1934. Well, blues fans, we just covered some of the highlights here. There's a lot more to know and to read and to listen to. To do it, all you have to do is just follow our social media pages or visit our website at bigtrainblues.com. We'll have a new episode next week, so we'll see you then.